Okay, here's my audience of one. She's a smoker. See? There's another audience member. And this is my Forrest Gump speech. Turn the camera to me. Okay. So, Forrest Gump was a film made in 1994. Won several awards, including the award for the Academy Award for Best Actor. Tom Hanks playing Forrest Gump. He obviously delivered a brilliant performance as Forrest Gump. He lived through many historical moments. One of the quotes from the movie is, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get." And that's kind of the theme of the whole movie, I guess, is no matter what life throws at you, you always got to stay humble and kind and deal with it as it comes. The only thing you can really control is your attitude and your reaction to it. The main character, at the first of the movie, he was pretty laughable and just real easy to, I guess, make fun of, or he had a lot of idiosyncrasies and quirks, and it's just, you kind of thought it was going to be a comedy or whatever, kind of about this little dumb kid or whatever, but he eventually wins the affection of the audience when you see his struggles that he's going through in life, as far as like being bullied and being picked on, and he didn't have really any friends except Jenny. His mama was struggling. She was a single mom trying to deal with raising a mentally challenged child, and so he kind of wins the audience over by not really by changing, by the main character changing so much, but by the I guess the feeling the kind of feeling sorry for him or whatever, you know what I mean? Not really feeling sorry, but just kind of having empathy for him. By the end of the movie, you're kind of rooting for him because of all the hardships he's faced and all of the things he's endured, as far as just life as it comes. And he's always been one steady person. He's always been kind. He's always been humble. He's always tried to show love and affection and tried to stand up for the right thing. If I had to choose a theme for the film, it would probably be that kindness kind of supersedes all. Forrest eventually learned that love wins in the end, no matter what. His girlfriend, quote unquote girlfriend, throughout the movie kind of did him real dirty and bad, and he was consistent with her and his feelings for her and his affection for her. No matter how she did him, he always was kind to her and tried to protect her and everything else. And she wound up having his child, and she couldn't care for him because she was sick. So not only did he get to marry the girl he loved, but he got a child from her before she died, and that's kind of how the movie ended. The main struggle of the film was definitely Forrest. It was human versus human. It was Forrest versus himself. Not necessarily that he was his own worst enemy, but in the fact that he had to deal with his own mental challenges and the only things in his life that he he had a lot of obstacles as far as mental and physical. At the first of the movie, he was next to crippled. He had to have a back brace to even walk. He said his back was as crooked as a politician. Probably a Democrat. The cinematography for the film was brilliant. That's probably what brought the whole film together. It was, to say the least, it brought on a feeling of nostalgia, because just the sights and the sounds, and you know, he put music from that era, from the Vietnam era, and just, you know, even if you didn't grow up in that era, you felt like you were living a part of history through that film. And to me, it is a very significant movie. And if you look deeper than just the film itself, it teaches a lot of valuable lessons that can be applied to everyday life. You know, he teaches you to be humble. You know, he had invested in Apple computers, or somebody had invested in Apple computers for him, and by his own words, he was a gazillionaire. He said he didn't have to worry about money anymore and everything else, but because he loved mowing the yard, he would go out and mow the football field around his school or whatever it was, and just because he enjoyed doing it and he didn't ask for anything in return or nothing else. And that probably looked crazy to some people from the outside looking in, but he was true to himself. He just did what he enjoyed doing, regardless of no matter what anybody else thought about him. And that's, you know, it just teaches us to be humble. Another thing, when Forrest saw a young African-American lady drop her book outside of the school, and at the University of Alabama, he stooped down to pick it up, and he stooped down to pick it up in front of a crowd that was trying to prevent her from getting into the school. That lady was Vivian J. Malone, and she was one of the first 2 African-American women to enter the University of Alabama whenever Governor Wallace was trying to stop the segregation, or stop desegregation implemented by Congress at the time. You know, and all the people of the town had gathered around, tried to stop these 2 people from entering this school. And long story short, is Forrest seen the lady drop a book, and even though everybody else was against him, and he was ridiculed and everything by the mob and all the people that were around, he didn't let none of that influence him. He still was a gentleman to the lady, and he stooped down and picked up her book. So that's, you know, regardless of what everybody else thinks, you always got to be true to yourself, and you've always got to be kind to one another. It just goes a long way, and respect one another. And, you know, in conclusion, Forrest just teaches that no matter what life throws at you, you really just got to handle it as it comes, and being kind and showing respect is the best way to handle any situation. You know, he got angry one time in the film, and that's because somebody had hit the woman that he loved. So that's really the only time you've seen him get upset or angry or anything else, and that was him protecting somebody that he loved. So, I mean, he just teaches us to be kind and humble and show affection for one another and respect. That's all I got. My audience grew.